start by saying all praises to God, and Jesus Christ, who's my personal Savior. My name is Scott Pullen. I'm a New Haven resident, born and raised, and just recently retired fireman. Did 25 years on the fire department.
Talk a little bit about that, man. Being a fireman in New Haven.
I'm going to start by saying, and most firemen will agree with me, you don't get paid enough. You do it because you love doing it, and you have it in you just to help people. You want to help people any way you can, even if that's giving your life. And we've had a few that have done that.
Yeah.
Even more so recently.
Yeah.
But it's just a job that you care about people, and you're always in. I mean, every guy. I mean, you got a wide, vast, different characters on the job, but everybody extremely cares about the people in the community that they serve.
Yeah, I see that in you, man. When I first met you, we met on the basketball court.
I knew you were gonna bring that up, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You know, hooping, and your son was out there hooping. I was like, Scott, come on, man, take it easy on him, man. He gonna learn this game sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
Cause you know, but he learned it though. But you always been a straight shooter, man. Always been that good guy. That people always gravitated to you. Even when I used to come down to the firehouse, man, it was just like everybody was family up there, man. Y'all just got along so well. It's like you left your living room going to a living room.
Yeah. Well, what it is that's your family, first and foremost, and the most important thing, you're not guaranteed to go home.
Yeah, that
you know
part
what I mean?
right there.
And we never say goodbye.
Never say
firemen
goodbye.
will never say goodbye. They say, I'll see you later.
I'll see you later. I'll see you later. And I met so many firemen because of you, who became my friends.
Yeah.
That I still talk to the day. You know what I mean? And then being a fireman, then on top of that, taking care of your family, and then on top of that, taking care of somebody else's family, and then on top of that, being a good man that you are, wearing all those hats, bro.
Well, like I said, I come from good stock, good family, who's always preached the importance of being Christ-like and God-like in what you do. I haven't always been perfect, been far from perfect. I have plenty of failed seasons, you know. But once I got it, I look up, say, God, I got it. You don't have to worry about that no more. It's not going to happen. And just trying to be a better person all the time. Now, even with the job, I was a union guy, and not by choice. You know, you and I, we know each other for years. You know, I'm soft-spoken.
Yeah.
I can always talk to you because that's just who you are.
Yeah.
But my cousin, he won't say it, but it's true. He was on the job as well, and he thought it'd be a joke to put my name in the hat for one of the union representatives. Because he knew I was quiet. I was just going to do my 25 years and disappear. I like to just stay in the background. And they voted me in. And I was the only minority at the time. So I initially wanted to just stay in the background, let them do the contracts and deal with the discipline and the grievances and the stuff with the mayor, interacting with the mayor and the community. I was just going to help. But and I had to be honest, we had some guys that had selfish motives. That's a nice way of me saying, you know, it was some conflict, and me as the only minority, I had to make sure that we were represented and done fairly. But even with that, I didn't see color. I just made sure that everybody was taken care of. And when you, like you said, when you see guys come up to me, and it's because I cared, and I ended up becoming the guy who went in with the discipline and grievances and trying to save people's jobs and not get them days, and because the job is tough, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
You know,
I know.
And I tell these young guys that come in, I help a lot of guys get on the job, and you know that. Like, at least with all the minorities on the job, I've had some kind of input with at least 70 to 75% of them.
Like a preacher at the job, speaking into so many young fellas' lives, because I seen that myself. I pull up, all these guys will come outside, and like they're connected to me through you.
Right.
You know, I'm coming for one reason, then all of a sudden I'm getting all these new friends because of you, and then seeing you outside the job with the same type of love and passion. Like, you gave me a dream that the Lord gave you about this podcast.
That's right.
And it was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
A long
I saw
time.
this, and I came and I called you. As soon as I woke up, Greg, yup, But you were always up like
Yeah, you know, I'm up
3 o'clock in the morning.
3
you
o'clock,
know.
3:30.
Yeah, so look, man, I had this dream, man. You supposed to be on the podcast. You supposed to be. Never in a million years I thought I'd be sitting next to you.
Yes,
But
yes.
I said, man, I see you doing this podcast, man, spreading the word and grinding with people and people, getting that feedback from you and learning from you, And you said, really? And I said, yeah, man, make it happen. And that was years ago.
That was years ago,
Yeah,
bro. And
yeah.
that's what I never told my friend Alex about that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. When people see other people passion, they can help push them into their destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Open up that door for them,
Right.
because that was never on my mind.
No.
It was about helping people, bring them closer to God,
Mm-hmm.
and and being there for them, praying for them. That was my motto. That's what I wanted to do.
Right, yeah.
But that's not what God wanted to do. He had a whole different door for me to walk in, and I didn't even know it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was good by just going to church, sitting there and learning.
Initially.
And then a good friend of mine said to me, he says, yo, man, all those scriptures you put up on Facebook, they cool and everything, but he said, so many people don't know how to read. I'm like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to read, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He says, but if you go Facebook Live, you got a word from the Lord.
Right.
I'm like,
And
he never heard me preach.
Every day you had a word, and I tell you that. How many people have a word every morning? I mean, that was your love and your passion for the word and what God had asked you to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've been doing it how long now?
Been doing a good 4 years now,
Yeah.
man, going on 5, bro.
Yeah.
Because when you go through, as being a fireman, when you go through so much trauma and you come up out of that and know that it's only God that bring you out of that,
Yeah.
you want to help somebody else that you know that's going to be going through that same thing.
Right.
And you already been in there, so you reach out and say, hey, man, I've been through that, and this is what helped me. Now use this same thing, this same tool, I'm going to give it to you to help you pull you out of that mess that you in.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, with the job, and that was my calling, I guess, to help guys. I mean, after that, and with the union, guys, it was like political guys would go around firehouses and, give their spiel on why you should vote for them. I never did that. My thing is, if you knew me and what I stood for, and you wanted me there to represent you, then you put my name in the hat. And I can honestly say I was the top vote getter for my last 9 years of the job, because guys knew I cared about all of them. And I tell people, man, it's a tough job. You come away from it, depending on who you are, like it was nothing but my faith that I'm not scarred. And I tell young guys when they come on, if your spouse or somebody very close to you tells you you've changed, go get help. Because you don't even realize it. You just become different. The stuff that you see every day, day in and day out, is just, you could watch a horror movie on TV and say, that's not what it looks like. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Guys, we sitting around watching a movie on TV and see somebody shot or burned, and I've seen it all, honestly. But I have a disconnect. And my disconnect is I don't want to know any names. I don't know who you left behind. I'm just going to pray for you. But you have firemen, and people need to understand this. You have firemen who aren't like that. And that's when you see the domestic abuse. And you see the drinking and the drugs and the acting out, because, they say firemen, they're wild, they do this. If you really look at it, a lot of firemen just want peace. A lot of them get married young. I mean, when stuff happens in their lives, a lot of it's because of the job.
Yes.
And they don't want to get help. And they go to somebody else on the job, and those guys have their disconnect. So they're not really helping you with your problem. And see, I used to have to go upstairs when guys got disciplined for all kind of things, the domestics, the drunks, the drinking, the fighting, all that stuff. I had to go up and represent them. So I knew the background. And I couldn't share it with anybody, but I had talked to them about it all the time and try to help them. And the first thing I would say is, you got a church home? Well, you need to find one, man. I can give you experience, but nothing like a church home and understanding the word.
Nothing like a church home, brother. And most of the people that, we talked for years about this.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people that you helped, they're the ones that turned against you.
Yeah.
Turned right back and went
they
right
did.
against you,
They
and
did.
you helped rebuild
They
their
did.
whole character.
They did.
And then they went right against you, like
They did.
you didn't do nothing.
They did.
That's the part that I never could understand. How is that I went upstairs for you,
Right.
batted for you, saved your job,
Sat in with the mayor when the
Sat
mayor
in-
was getting
yeah.
ready to fire you, and talked to her and him about you keeping your job, and saved you. And then I come back downstairs and you bashing me, but it's okay because I did the right thing.
That's that strong
You know?
faith, bro.
Exactly.
Because you always kept pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen you stop.
No.
You always kept. I never said you had a bad word about nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen you go against nobody. You was
Yeah.
always kept moving. Like, okay, that happened. Let me keep moving.
Right. And you know my famous words. You know that when people talk about people, are we picking up stones? Put that stone down.
Put that stone down.
Don't throw no stones.
Put that stone down.
Everybody has their journey, and that's my line all the time to
Yeah,
you, right?
everybody
And,
got that
somebody's
journey,
Going through
yeah.
this, going through. Oh, they'll be all right.
It's gonna be all right.
They'll
You used
be
to
all
tell me
right.
that
Everybody
all
has
the
their journey.
time.
Yep.
Everybody has that journey,
Everybody has
that
that
cross
journey.
they got to carry too, man.
That's it.
Because carrying that cross ain't easy.
No. No.
And everybody got to carry that cross.
Much is given.
Much is required,
Yeah.
bro. You got to carry that cross, especially if you say you want to be a Christian. That means you got to act like a Christian.
Right.
Got to talk like a Christian.
Yeah.
And you got to do what a Christian does.
And you know what one of the biggest sins are that you have to repent from, and people don't really think about it? Forgiveness.
And that's,
Forgiveness.
let me tell you something.
You know what I mean?
People can say they forgive, but soon as that thing come right back up, they get mad all over
Yeah.
again. Like they never forgave.
That's right.
But for order for us to be forgiven, we got to forgive.
That's right.
We got to let that thing go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Completely let go. And that's not easy, bro.
No, it's not.
That's
why I
not
said it's
easy,
one of the
man.
hardest sins. Is
That's
to
not
forgive.
easy, man. It's
And like
easy
you
to
just said,
say.
guys that I've helped get on the job and made sure they were taken care of, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, they turn around, they trying to put me in a bad spot because they're intimidated by who I am. But my thing is, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what
your
God
job.
had asked me
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
And usually that's being Christ-like in all my moves. I don't have nothing against you or the next man. It's a job I have to do. I don't want nobody losing their livelihood, the man or this woman. I don't want nobody being harassed. And I've done that where I've been the go-between.
Yeah.
And even to this day, I got to be honest. I tell guys all the time. And I told them on the job, you got a problem. If I don't know the person, I know somebody that'll.
They know
take
somebody.
it.
You always
But
tell me
I'm
that.
big on character
Yes.
and how you carry yourself on the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Be professional at all times.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
That forgiveness to me is like a job, bro.
Oh, no doubt.
Like you constantly working on it.
Yeah.
It's not something you say, okay, here it is. I forgive you,
Right.
and I move on. No, that's something that you constantly got to work with,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And you got to be prepared to let it go. You just can't lock in and think that it's gonna go on its own. No, you really gonna have to let that thing go. Because if you don't let that thing go, that thing come back and hunt you,
On
man.
you.
Yeah,
Not
on
them,
you, not
Right.
them, because they don't forgot about what they done to you,
Yeah.
and you still holding them hostage.
Yeah, yeah,
because
you
you walk
yourself
around
hostage.
and yourself hostage.
Right. Gotta
That's
let go.
right.
And that's tough, man. That's tough when somebody's done you real dirty, you know, and you say you forgive them, but your heart's hurt. And then when they still throwing salt on that wound and you still trying to stand tall and stand by the word, that's rough, man.
And you know what's so crazy, right? Because you know how God does it, man. I need you to pray for them.
And I've done that, yeah. And
I
you've
did-
done that to me
and
a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
times.
yeah,
I came by
remember? Yeah.
fuming. Hey,
Yeah.
man, let me tell you what's going on, Greg, Scott. And you know that sometimes I'm looking for you.
Yeah,
Greg,
yeah.
where you at, man? I need to talk to you. You know, I might have been professional when it went down, you know, trying to deal with it. But I was looking for Greg. Greg, come help me, man, with this one, man. You got to talk to me. You got to talk to me. Where you at? I got to go. I got to find you.
I had to learn that, man, because, you know, us coming from the streets and having a street background, we look at things different.
Right.
And then now you got God in the forefront looking at you to make sure that you do the right thing. Because if you say you're saved, you got to be saved, right? So forgiveness is a big part of that. So to learn how to do that, and I'm still working with it, bro, because none of us arrive, right?
That's right. That's right, yeah.
But it seems like you get freer. Every time you forgive somebody and you start praying for them, it frees something. It's like you get lighter, like a heavy load stops dropping off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, once you get it and you can let it go, you feel great, man. You feel like you said, you feel lighter. Everything looks brighter. You know what I mean? But it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. And that's something that we all need to work on, right? Especially if you call yourself a Christian.
Yeah.
Because it's going to bring you closer to God. Because God had to forgive, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
For all of us to have the life that we have right now.
Right.
If He didn't forgive us, we'd be in bad shape right now. You know what I'm saying? And by Him sending His Son, who died for us, That was huge within itself. That was all forgiveness to me. You know what I mean? Knowing that he sent his son to die for me, and I was a wretched man. So when I go back and look at things like that, it's okay, Greg. You got to keep going, and you got to learn how to forgive. You got to learn how to walk in forgiveness, and you got to be about that. Yeah, he hurt you. Yeah, she hurt you. But what you gonna do about it?
Right, and then you can't pick up a stone because you haven't been perfect yourself.
Nah.
You know what I mean? And admit it, and it feels good once you admit it and you move on. That's growth.
Because we all fall short, right?
Yeah.
We all done some things, right, that
Right.
we don't want nobody to really know.
Right.
But God, right?
Right.
We talk to
Right.
God about it, but we ain't trying to talk to nobody else
Right.
about it. Say, Lord, this is between me and you, right?
Right.
But sometimes you have to talk to others about it because it's not about you. For they can get their deliverance because they might be going through the same thing
Right.
that you're going through, but because you're trying to hold it back and don't want to let it go.
Yeah. And on the job, going back to the job, you want when you see people you grew up with, and I haven't always looked like this and talked like this when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you see them, you want them to know that you love them. You know, I mean, and then it's funny when I'm trying to think. I've got so much on my mind thinking about what I've done to get to where I've been. But it's funny when you see somebody when you were doing those things you were doing when you were younger, and I probably did everything that anybody who grew up in the hood did. I did, and you see somebody that you grew up with, and they're looking at you like you coming off this piece, and you a fireman. How they let you become a fireman?
Yeah,
I grew.
I heard that too.
But I still love them. I don't act any different because they're in a bad place, and I don't care who's around, what firemen around, what officers. I'd give them a hug, give them a love. You good? You okay? And that's a good thing about firemen is that we're not like police. You know what I mean? Where you look, I gotta arrest you. You know, we can talk to you like, look, man, we don't have to do this, man. You know, you want to get something off your chest, yell and scream and stuff, but come on, man, we don't want the cops to come. We're those guys.
When you talk about love, right? That's crazy, because love is deep, man, and love covers a multitude of sin. I used to tell people, don't never tell nobody you love them unless you truly mean it, because there's meaning behind that word love.
Right.
You just can't throw it out there like freely.
Right.
If I tell you that I love you,
Right.
best believe I love
I
you.
love you.
You know what I'm saying?
Because some people need to be loved. Some people are going through some stuff and they need to hear somebody like you say, you care and you love. You know, you can't say that and the next time they see you thinking they're gonna get love from you, and then you push them away. You know?
Love them, but don't judge them neither.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't love and judge.
Right.
You know, that's two different entities. If I love you, I'm going to love you with chapter 4. There may not be no good in your life.
Right.
But I'm still going to love you.
Right.
Because we're going to get through chapter 4.
Because God will humble you sometimes when you become judgmental.
Yeah.
And you think you got it, you understand, and you treat somebody wrong, I'm going to show you. And I've been there. You might not do it on purpose, but, you did this wrong, so I got to show you so you don't do it no more.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, God, I got you.
Because you're using that word in vain instead of using it the way it's supposed to be used.
Right.
It's such a learning curve in so many things when it comes down to Christianity, right? The forgiveness piece, the love piece, and taking it to such a, a strong job like you have, man. I mean, where you dealing with people of different nationalities coming in all kind of ways, characters,
personalities,
and like 5 or 6 of them against you, but you still helping them, and you still got to walk with that love because that's you.
But think about it. How good do you feel when you do the right thing? Even when everybody else is throwing negative stuff at you and trying to break you down, but you're doing something positive and you're doing something that's going to help not just that person you're helping, but other people along the way. You know what I mean?
Oh, you feel real good, man.
It's okay. So you can keep coming at me. I got a job to do, and the more you bash me and it's wrong, the more you put a light on who you are. And we're not going to give names, but people who've done that to me on the job and then turn around and need me to help them. And I helped.
That's the crazy part, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have talked about that.
Plenty of times. Like I said, I've called you plenty of times,
and
man.
You turned around where most people would have to take a break from it. Yeah. You went right in there and helped them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of those people was going after your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you still went, I've been doing this Christianity thing for over 25 years. I had to take a break for a minute before I forgive you. Because I can't just jump into it that quickly, right? I'm going to see if you're going to try to do it again. I sit back for a minute. And I had to learn the hard way. Sometimes that's not the way though. That's not it.
Right. And then,
So forgiveness is everything, then.
it's important. What profits a man? You know, what's the rest of the saying? What profits a man?
Profit man is if he
Give
gain the
the
world but lose his soul,
That's
right?
That's right. And I tried to be the best man I could be, you know, and because of things that went on in my life, made me, molded me into the man I am now. If you saw me at between 16 and 25, you would said, that's not the same guy. And then when people talk to me, I can't answer. I can't tell you what I did at 25 because I'm not the same guy. You know, but I could tell you at 26, 27, I had 5 foster kids. A single man, 5 foster kids. You know, and that's when I stopped drinking. I never smoked. That just wasn't my thing. But I couldn't raise 5 kids, and they're still my nieces and nephews. Love them. They're all doing very well. I couldn't raise them and come in from the bar, smell like a bar and drunk on a Friday night when they dealt with so much in their lives, you know. And I'm not going to get into detail because they're still part of my life and nobody else's business but mine and theirs. But, and I stopped drinking. And then to this day, that's what they remember about me.
Man, I ride by that firehouse every day because, you know, it's right down the street from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the same because I used to ride by, see the gray truck sitting outside. I pull in.
Right.
I know you coming out, you know, and then you telling this one and that
Young
one to
guys
come
coming
out.
yeah.
And then, you know, we having a conversation, we talking around the truck.
Yeah.
But every time I left that firehouse, I learned something, something to take with me. Even though I came to deposit something, I still walked away with something, man. You know, and that's what's important to me, that when you walk away from with something, that you can take and give it to somebody else, right? That's important.
Yeah, and with that job, man, the stuff that you see, you should put in perspective. When you don't, you're angry. Like a young lady, she was a paramedic for years, and she worked on the unit for years. There was a day where she had 3 infants pass away. You know, I never wanted that job, the medical part of it.
Yeah.
Let me go tear up a house and go to the roof and cut a hole in the roof. That was my job. They called me Bam Bam, but I used to just tear stuff up.
Yeah.
I didn't want that medical stuff. I mean, you had to initially, but I wanted that type of stuff. She had 3 children pass away before noon. Yeah, I don't want that responsibility.
No, that's
I
tough.
mean, like 2 infants and a 10-year-old.
That's tough.
And she just came in, I got to go home crying.
Yeah.
Didn't seek no counseling. I got to go home, get myself together. And then she's back the next day. You know, so the job, just it puts stuff in perspective. And one thing that I thank God for is that I never had anybody family or somebody I grew up with, you know, on a call, you know, deceased. That was always my biggest fear, to walk into a house and see it's a family member. And there's people who have.
Yeah.
But I just been blessed not to. And then, you know, I tell the story all the time. As soon as I got my EMT license, as soon as I got it, like I had on my shift, then I had great guys. And I tried to carry the same things they taught me to everybody else. I was real demanding on guys.
Yeah.
And they would tell you on the job, too.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't stop speaking to Scott for 6 months, you didn't learn nothing from him, because I was very demanding. But as soon as I got my EMT license, a friend of mine, who's like a brother to me now, I call him a brother, I don't even say anything else, Elder Brantley, Jack Brantley.
Yeah.
I just call him a brother because of things we've been through in life. But first day, he says, can I put him on the unit with me? Just got his EMT license. All right. As soon as they put me on the unit, get a call. Lady crashed her car and crushed her neck and was dead in the front seat. I ain't never seen nothing like before. As soon as I get my license, first day, 5 minutes in, that's my first call.
First call.
But the sad thing is that it was right. She had just came back from vacation and she was headed to work, and drunk driver hit her, crossed lanes and hit her. So because she was just around the corner from my house, somebody saw her and called her husband and said, your wife got into an accident. So he's thinking, oh, somebody else banged up the truck, because she was in the truck. Comes in with all her kids, 4 kids, youngest one being 2 years old, and they see them taking their mother out.
Bro, I couldn't do that job.
First time I did a medical call, that was my call. And people have horror stories, man, but like I said, they don't pay you enough. And if you don't have God in your life, and there's guys, you read about it, and if you look at the news now, you see you're gonna break. You gotta have faith.
That's a tough job, man, because, you know, it's not all the glamour that people think it
No,
is, you know, because
no.
they see y'all chilling, and sometimes they don't know. When, like you said, when you're going out on that call, you don't know who
Right.
on that truck may not come back, man. That's the sad thing
that's
about
happened,
it.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen.
Yes.
Because that's part of the job.
Yes.
And dealing with that psychologically, man, knowing that you don't see your boy might be caught up in the flames, saving somebody else's life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go right back and do this all over again.
Yeah.
That'd be tough for me, bro.
And it's crazy. I mean,
That'd be tough.
There's been times where I just got off the roof just in time, or had to jump out a window. I mean, you know, and firemen don't talk about it. Like you know, the lay person, citizens, they'll look at you like, wow, you did all that. Like with a fireman, if you go home, he asks, how was your day? It's all right, but you don't know that he just jumped out a window and he's just happy to be alive. He's not even telling you that. It's a good day. You know, and some people are scarred. I had a little PTSD when I first left, but it wasn't that type of stuff like lights, tones that were stuff I was used to. It would wake me up in the middle of the night, like if I fell asleep watching TV and for whatever reason the screen was bright, I'd jump up because I thought it was a call, because I thought the lights were coming on to go do a call. So I had those type of things. But again, I learned early on to find a disconnect. So everything was a situation. I didn't want to know the background. I didn't want to know the family. You know, and I said that earlier, what family you left behind, how many kids, and I didn't want to know none of that. What you look like, I didn't want to know none of that. So everything was situational. You know, some people sit around the table, want to talk about it. I don't want to talk
You
about
don't want
that.
to talk about that, man,
Nah.
because that's trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma on top of trauma, man.
And they're a little different, man. After we retired, well, not even when we retired, firemen, they always think ahead. So, like, say a kid is sitting on a chair or something. You got to get down because you know bust your head and no, he's a big boy because we've seen it. So
Seen
people
it
like
done,
you know
yeah.
you're doing a little too much.
Yeah, you're doing a little too much.
But we understand that.
Yeah.
Firemen understand that. But sometimes citizens and just regular people, they don't get that.
I tell you though, man, like I said earlier, man, that's a job that I never thought about applying for.
Mm-hmm.
That and the police officers, two of the jobs that. And I worked at corrections, right? And the stuff that we went through correctional was rough, you know what I mean? But the stuff that you guys go through, police officers, nah, I couldn't do it, bro. I really couldn't do it because I used to take home trauma when I was working in the correction. I had to sit in my car for like an hour to come down because I was such on a high level, right? Because of the violence.
Right.
So I can imagine you running into a building, you diving in the water to save somebody that's drowning, they can't swim, not knowing that you may not come up out of that water, and then got to go home like you said, like it's nothing, like it never happened, because you had to recharge and retool real quick.
Everybody's not meant to run into burning buildings, and we have some firemen that really aren't built for it either. But you got to pray for them. Because they're a nervous wreck, and you usually know who they are. They're not right. Their hair turns gray early on, or falls out, or you know, again they're drinking or drugs, and you know, having problems at home. You know, if you don't, and I tell young guys that all the time, you got to find a disconnect. I don't know what works for you. I can't give you mine because mine may not work for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
got to
that's
find a
right,
disconnect.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you say, you drinking and drugging and the domestic violence piece, all that comes into effect when you're not going to get the proper help that you need because you're dealing with trauma all the time.
That's right.
But also you're creating trauma. You're creating your personal trauma. On top of the trauma that you deal with on the job, you go home and make it personal.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is suffering because of your suffering because you didn't want to go get help for
Because
it.
you didn't want to go help, and they don't. A lot of times they don't until it's it's gone a little far. Long, I'm not gonna say a little too far, but when guys realize that it's affecting their relationships or their job, sometimes you got to order them. Like there's been guys like, look, man, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna fight that you don't get no days, but we're gonna go to counseling. We're gonna set it up right now, and you're gonna leave to go to counseling when you leave here. And if you don't do that, I'm not gonna help you. You know what I mean? I've been there with guys crying, like guys who got drunk and I don't even remember what happened. You gotta go get help. And then when you go get help, you got a church. If you don't have a church, come on. And I've brought guys to church with me. Because I can't explain everything to you.
No, you can't. And a lot of people don't understand how important the church home is, like you said earlier, right? How important God can be in your life when you're dealing with that trauma.
Exactly.
Just straight up trauma coming at you. That's when that prayer is so powerful because it relieves all that pressure. Because man, that stuff, that trauma, that pain, and that stuff comes at you, man.
But God. And there's been times after jobs, and I look at the building, don't know how I got out of there, look around, make sure everybody's safe. I say, but God.
But God.
And that's the first words I say all the time, but God. And guys they knew I was religious. Scott don't swear, Scott don't do this, Scott don't do that. And like I said, I've had my failed seasons. But as I matured, and I knew that people looked up to me and people saw me as, okay, well, this is who I want to be like. And I was tough on guys. Like I used to tell them, you don't want to come to my shift because I'm going to demand more from you than anybody else. But when you walk out of here, you're going to be a role model. You're going to have great character. And people are going to look up to you. And a lot of guys will tell you that. Now, Scott was a good dude. And you already know.
Yeah,
I went to bat. Sometimes I stood alone for what was right. And I had guys coming at me.
Yeah.
Because I was standing up for
that
what was
part
right.
there.
Yeah. Because
they
they were corrupt. That's the word I didn't want to use, but, they were being corrupt.
You did some things with some people, man, a lot of people wouldn't have done.
Right.
They would have let that ship just sink.
Right.
But you always saw something good. That's the thing. You always went in there and saw something good out of that one. But that's the one that's turning against you.
Yeah.
But you will always see something good and then wind up turning that person's whole life around, knowing that they should have been fired.
Knowing they should have been fired.
Knowing they should have got that pension taken away from them.
Right.
And you went there and made sure they got their pension back,
And
got all their time
nobody
back.
wanted you on the job.
And when nobody wanted you on the
but
job.
I'm fighting to keep you on the job.
That's right.
To the point where they were sitting down across the table from the mayor, me and 2-3 other guys, and sometimes it's me and the mayor. Like, look, what can we do? He's not a bad guy. And then sometimes they fall again. And then you got to do it all over again. They're looking at you like, Scott, you don't put yourself out there. I know there's somebody good in there.
And that's a special gift to have, bro. When you looking at a person, knowing that person has turned on you, and you looking into their soul, saying, I see something good in you, regardless of what you said about me, I'm still going to help you. I'm still going to pray for you. I'm still going to look out for you.
Well, I don't care about the dude. I care about what God thinks. I don't care about man.
Man, I'm so grateful that you came out here tonight, man. We needed to hear this. This is so important for so many different people out there.
And I knew you'd get me to talking because I ain't much of a talker, man.
Listen.
Well, I talk to you, you know that, but when we're around people, when we're talking, I'm sitting in the back, just taking it all in.
They tell me I talk for 5 people. That's all right. I'm getting my point across.
Right, you
man.
got great things. I know you've helped me in these situations. Some of these situations that I go to work and because I'm always like this. I'm always calm. You know that. No matter what's going on. Even at fires, they said if I did do drugs, my heart would probably stop because I'm always like this.
Yeah.
But when I was upset and I'd be cool at the job, Greg, you home? Yo, man, I got to run, but I got to throw something at you, man. I need to talk to you a little bit. Right?
You all the time.
Pacing and everything,
But I want to thank y'all for listening to this episode. I brought my friend Scott out here today. A man of integrity, man. A man that does it the right way. That's what a man's supposed to be and supposed to look like and supposed to do for others. Thank you for this episode. Once again, that you came out here, man. It meant so much to us, man.
If you call me, I'm there. I owe you.
Come on, man. We owe each other.
Okay.
But we'll see you again. God bless y'all.
God bless.